Okay, so I'm pretty sure that my dogs have fleas. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I did wake up with a few bite marks, a few suspicious bite marks all over my skin. So there's that. Of course, the sun decides to go away right as I sit back and get comfortable. Anyways, hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to Tiger Lily. Today, I want to speak about a topic that has been very close to my heart these past 2 months. Very, very close to my heart in a very mystical, magical, wonderful way. And that topic is roses. I have my little rose with me today. I actually have two roses with me today. The reason that I've been wanting to speak about this topic specifically is because roses have been very, very prominent. Of course, the sun decides to come out and make an appearance as I start talking about it. Roses have been very, very prominent for me these past 2 months in a way that has been almost magical and mystical and wonderful. And I feel like collectively roses are just really coming forth for a lot of people right now. And I don't know if I'm crazy in saying that, but I genuinely just wanted to make a video talking about roses and the lessons that I've been learning from them lately, and how I feel like collectively we all have a lot to learn from roses. 2 months ago, we arrived in Lake Tahoe, California. I think that when we arrived in Lake Tahoe, that was our 8th month of traveling cross country full time. And I just was an absolute wreck. Like, I was not okay. Like, the first 2 weeks that we were there, I was very, very much in a dark night of the soul. I was spiraling very heavily, and I just was having a really hard time feeling stable and grounded. And I think that a huge part of that is, of course, we've been traveling cross country for almost a year now full time. So it's a bit disorienting. It's a bit hizzy dizzy wizzying. And so we got to Lake Tahoe and I just was feeling so ungrounded. And I just was like, you know what, universe, God, spirit, what have you, Mother Gaia, whoever is listening to me in this moment, please give me a sign, because I have no idea what to do. I had been thinking for a while at that point that we should stop traveling, but I just hadn't made the conscious decision yet, because it can be very hard for me to make decisions and to trust myself in moments like that. And I am that bitch that relies heavily on synchronicities and breadcrumbs from the universe to lead the way for me. Maybe a little bit too heavily sometimes. It's something that I am working on, in finding that truth within myself and that power within myself versus always looking outwardly for external validation. But my girl Rose really has been coming through with that external validation for me in a very, very beautiful way. And I just was saying, like, please just give me a sign. I don't know what it's going to be or what it's going to look like, but I need some sense of direction right now. And I went into an apothecary and I heard two women speaking about roses, and just roses. I don't know what it was specifically they were speaking about when it comes to roses, but they were having a little yap session about roses. And I had realized that literally that morning I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about roses too. And I was like, okay, that's weird. And I am that person to like always second guess when it comes to synchronicities. I was like, okay, but it's an apothecary. Maybe like the chances of someone talking about roses in an apothecary are pretty high, right? Because it's an apothecary. Like, they're going to be talking about that type of shit. So anyways, I go out and we start walking around the town. And literally, I shit you not, 3 signs back to back to back with a rose on each sign. And I had said to myself specifically the night before, I had said to like give me a sign, but I had also said, if there is a tarot reader that I just stumble across, like a tarot reader in the wild, I am going to go and have a reading done. And I don't know like what it's going to look like or what would come from it, but I just need some sort of direction right now. Like, if I were to come across a tarot reader, I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk to them. And so literally 3 signs with roses. I forget what the 2 first signs were, but like I think one of them was like a boutique and one of them was a restaurant. There was a rose on each sign. And then the sign right after that was for a tarot reader, and there were roses all over the sign. And I was like, girl, but still a little bit skeptical, but I was like, okay, this is getting kind of weird, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk to her, because I literally just said last night, like, this is something that I feel like I could benefit from. And I'm very skeptical when it comes to getting tarot readings, because I think that it could go either way. You could find someone that's genuine or you could find someone that's not. I literally like didn't tell her zip, nada. And she literally read me to filth. She read me and my partner to filth. My partner wasn't even there. He just was catching strays left and right. Not in a negative way, but in a coming to terms with like certain aspects that he has been ignoring. It was a very, very enlightening reading, and basically like the accumulation of the reading, I think that that's the right word, was essentially that we need to stop traveling because it has just become too much and it has been burning me out. We kind of hit a point of we can't do this anymore, and that tarot reading just kind of like validated it for me, something that I already knew. And I feel like that's with like all synchronicities, it's stuff that we know deep down, but we kind of need the universe to be like, knock knock bitch, who's there? Fucking destiny. That too. Once we arrived to Washington, I just was like, I'm feeling so called to this land, and I don't know why. I'm not entirely sure like what my purpose is here or what exactly it is about this area that I kind of just have this feeling of home about. But a few days ago, we went into Tacoma, which is about like an hour and a half drive from where we're staying currently. And I just was like, this feels like home. I just said like a really quick little intention of, okay, if I like, I was about to just say if I'm crazy, and I am crazy, I'm certified crazy, but like, tell me if I'm being delusional about this was basically my intention. If I'm not, and if this is real, like this feeling of this being home is real, like show me roses. I literally shit you not, I got out of the car after we parked. There's a rose bush right in front of the car. Okay, yeah, that's not that crazy, bitch. Roses grow everywhere, whatever. So I was like, okay, kind of weird, but like also like people plant roses, right? So then we go into the restaurant and a vase of roses. So then we go and we sit down. I've tried to record this like 3 times. This is my 3rd take on explaining this because I just feel like I get so feral when I'm talking about it because it was so crazy. But anyway, we go and we sit down. I ordered the mango sticky rice. And if you've never had mango sticky rice before, you need to try it. It's literally amazing. But I order it. He brings it out. The waiter, he brings it out. And they literally cut the mango into the shape of a rose. And they had put a rose on the dish, like an actual like rose flower. They had cut it from, I'm assuming, the bouquet that they had that was sitting on the counter when we walked in. And so literally like mango shaped rose and rose literally right in front of me. And even my partner was like, okay, that's fucking weird. Like that's kind of like freaky a little bit. And I was just like, this is so real. Like it's so magical and whimsical and mystical, and like that is the shit that I like live for and I eat up. Like I eat that shit up. Like it was just so wonderful. It was such a wonderful moment. And again, I still don't know exactly what it is that Washington State could be for us. It's not an automatic done deal. I still am taking my time and I'm trying to be intentional, and I'm just trying to surrender and flow. And I think that with roses specifically, that is what it asks of us. Because if you look at a rose, if you look at any flower in particular, you cannot rush the blooming of a flower. You cannot rush the blooming of a rose. It's going to bloom in its own time, and you just have to surrender and like melt into, I'm just here for the ride. I'm along for the ride. I'm buckled in. I have my seatbelt on, and I'm just really trying to melt into the flow of it all and not try to make these crazy assumptions, but just like follow the breadcrumbs and follow these little moments of, okay, I think that this might be the land that we are going to settle on, and really truly be open to that idea and be open to anything could happen. Because I also am like, well, how? How are we going to do this? What is it going to look like? I need to make a plan. I need to start a financial budget. And that is the masculine side of us. The right side of our brain is all about intuition, flow, creativity. It's very nonverbal. It's more so like emotional in that heart space area and in feeling. Whereas the left side of our brain is all about structure, analytics. It's very verbal. It wants everything to make sense and it wants to follow a concrete plan. Men and women all struggle from this. We don't really have a healthy balance between the two. And I think that for most people, we kind of stay in the left side of our brain for most of the time. And we kind of stay in this masculine energy. And when I say masculine and feminine, it is not gender-based whatsoever. It's just how it has portrayed itself in history. Patriarchally speaking, the masculine has been very, very present, and most of that energy has been portrayed and has manifested in men specifically. And if you look at women with like their periods and being emotional and and all of like these demonizations that men specifically has placed upon us, that is like that feminine energy of being emotional and being in your body and not always being up here but being here, which a lot of men struggle with, and also a lot of women struggle with too sometimes. Like a lot of the times we really get stuck up here and trying to make sense of everything. I had all these crazy synchronicities and all of this like magic happen that were pointing me in this specific direction. But my left side of the brain and my masculine side of the brain wanted to make sense of it and wanted it to make sense right now because I want to know what is going on, what we are doing. I want to have control over the situation. And I think that I speak about that a lot just on this channel in general, of just letting go of control. And in letting go of control, you are really melting into that energy of the rose and of flowing and of just being to be and just existing to exist and feeling how you feel in that moment, but not trying to make sense of everything and become all analytical and statistical in your brain about it. That has been something that I've struggled with. Like, I am a control freak. Freaky, weaky deaky. Like, I never realized it about myself until I started doing like all of this like inner work and like asking myself these questions, that I realized that like I'm a fucking freak. Like I am such a control freak, especially as someone who has OCD and ADHD and anxiety. Like I have the trifecta of trifectas. And I just like become so obsessive over having things make sense and over having control over every aspect of my life. Because if things do not feel good externally, then I'm like an absolute wreck, shitting, crying, throwing up internally. And I think that with Rose coming into my life, it has been such an invitation for me to like fully and truly surrender. And I think that the polar opposite of control is surrender. And I think that that is where you begin opening up space for new things and new experiences to come into your life, because when you are holding so tightly to this control, you're suffocating any energy for anything new or transformative to come in for you. Because again, like you are leaning into this illusion that you have control in the first place, which you don't. And I know that that's a very jarring thing to hear, especially in this society, because the patriarchy wants us to stay up here. It does not want us to be in here, because when we are in here and we start dropping into our heart space and into our bodies, that is where true healing begins to come forth. And when enough people start doing that, that is when the dissolution of the patriarchy will begin happening. I don't think that that's a word. That is when the patriarchy will start dissolving. And that is when the patriarchy will begin to crumble. And do not twist my words. I'm not saying that we should have a matriarchy that comes in after that. I think that we should strike a balance. We need to find balance between the masculine and between the feminine. And we need to reclaim both of these parts of ourselves. And even when you look at the rose, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, she's a 10 out of 10, she's an 11 out of 10, but she has these thorns to her and she has this sharpness to her. So even when you look at the feminine, it's not all flow and surrender and rainbows and butterflies. Like there is that feminine rage and that sacred rage that exists within all of us. Yes, patriarchy has been oppressive for so long, and yes, it is so ingrained in literally just like the history of human beings. But if we go back even further, like there were times when women were priestesses and there were matriarchies and there were sacred elders that were women that held places within societies and within civilizations that had a place of power. And so we have this in our history too as well, but we forget about it and we only focus on how men have been really, really abusive for a very, very long time. And so I don't want it to be, you know, one is better than the other. It's just more so one has been overlooked for a very, very long time. And one has been forgotten, and it needs to be remembered and it needs to be brought forth back into the collective. I am so grateful for the lessons that have been coming forth through literally just this rose and through this flower. I was never a rose girly before. Like, I was very anti-rose actually, because I think that just like with like common capitalism, roses have been very, very overhyped. And I kind of had this moment of, I don't want roses. Like, don't give me roses for Valentine's Day. But now I'm like, no, give me all of the fucking roses. Because that's also me tapping into that softer, more feminine side of myself that, again, like, we are asked in this society to forget and to be ashamed of. I remember growing up as a little girl liking the color pink and then being like, ew, I don't want to like the color pink because that's so girly. And now pink is literally my favorite color as I've begun to like heal those parts of myself. Pink is my favorite color. I am loving roses. I am putting glitter on my eyelids and wearing makeup and looking cutesy and fun and girly pop. And I'm really starting to just like soften myself and lean into the softening and the remembering of that part of myself. There is that softening part and that yummy little jelly part of surrender and flowing and just letting go of control. But then there is also this audacious, bold, courageous, radical part of it, because in leaning into the feminine and the right side of the brain, you are being radical, because it is something that is not commonly done and it is not something that is commonly practiced. And literally, like, my book that I am currently working on was from the invitation from the rose to lean into that creative, intuitive, amazing, radical, beautiful, bold, courageous part of myself to create this book. And before I knew it, my main character's name was Rose. And like, I know that like subconsciously, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'm thinking about roses a lot during that time, but I just like, the moment that I realized her name was Rose, I was fucking shook to my fucking core. Like, I was writing it and I looked at my partner and I was like, oh my God, her name is Rose. Like, I had written probably 4 or 5 pages at that point, and I hadn't named her because I was just like, I don't know, I was just riffing. I was just like I had a creative spur and I was like, I'm just gonna write this just to write it and just to have fun and like not have any expectation of it and really surrender and flow into that creative process. And I literally looked back at it and I was looking at all of like the symbolism in literally just these 5 pages, and I was like, her name is Rose. And the book that I'm writing is radical, and it is not a book that I will feel comfortable sharing with a lot of people in my life, especially my very Christian, religious, conservative family, because it looks at religion as a whole and breaks down how the patriarchy oppresses women specifically. She has a bite to her as well. She has a bite to her, and she has this sacred rage to her as well. And when we tap into that in a healthy manner, we can help to begin healing it, because there are things that need to be integrated within both sides of them as well. Like, yes, we need to integrate the masculine and the feminine, but we also have to integrate the light and the dark of the feminine and the light of the dark of the masculine separately. Because again, like, there are so many parts of society that need to be called out right now, and that is a very radical and scary thing to do, but it is so, so needed. And I think that Rose is coming forth for a lot of us right now, because we were being asked and invited to share our voices. And that's what I'm doing, coming out here, sharing this video. And I hope and I pray and I wish for it to reach people that are kind of on that same frequency right now. And I don't think that I'm the only one, because I have been seeing other people talking about roses lately. And I think that collectively, she's out there in the ethers doing her little thing, collecting all of these little damaged girlies along her way and helping them to heal and helping them to reclaim their sacred power and their sacred femininity in a patriarchy that wants to oppress that and wants us to just always constantly be stuck up here. I had forgotten about the sacred healing that could come from just being nonverbal and just like not thinking so hard about it all, and really beginning to bring this presence into my life and this mindfulness into my life and this sacred gratitude for what is in front of me currently, and this sacred gratitude for just myself and love for myself. And I think that Rose is really asking us to love ourselves. Literally right before I came out here, I was like putting on my little chapstick and putting my blush on my cheeks and my sparkles on my eyelids, my little glitter on my eyelids. And I just was thinking, you look so beautiful. Like, you look so beautiful and I love you so much. And I don't think that we do that enough. I don't think that we look at ourselves in the mirror enough and just say, like, you look so beautiful and I love you so much. And I was out to like lunch the other day with my partner and I was doing a little dance as I was eating my food, and I was just like, I just deserve this and I love myself so much and I deserve this meal. I'm worthy of this meal. And I'm so happy that I get to just like sit here and enjoy it and do my little dance as the music is playing. And we really have to really drop into our bodies and feel that, and not just say it to ourselves, because again, that's where we're just like becoming verbal about it, but really truly feel it in our heart and in our soul. Go and buy yourself a bouquet of roses. You know that Miley Cyrus song, I Can Buy Myself Flowers? Go and buy yourself flowers. It doesn't even have to be roses. That's another thing, like flowers just in general. Like my whole book actually is based upon flowers in a way. Like the way that it has all transpired and evolved has been just like so fun to just be along the ride for. But I have been so into flowers. I'm in my flower girl era right now. I have 2 beautiful bouquets of flowers right now in the house, just like going out and acknowledging flowers and acknowledging like the bloom of flowers and how beautiful they are and how they do just bloom in their own time. Literally, as I'm speaking right now, the whole little like field in front of me is just full of dandelions in full bloom, and they're just like so gorgeous and yellow and vibrant. I think that we just like forget to hold space for how sacred flowers are. Like, they literally are just so beautiful, and they bring us this sense of joy and whimsy that is uncomparable to so much else in nature. We're going to be near Mount Rainier next month, and I'm so excited to go and see all of the flowers in bloom there. Apparently, like, they have like crazy wildflowers there. But go and buy yourself flowers. Go and buy yourself flowers. Go and treat yourself. Take a yummy, scrumptious bubble bath. Go and get yourself some chocolate or bake some chocolate chip cookies. Treat yourself. Treat yourself to the fullest. Treat yourself to the fullest and truly enjoy and revel in the feeling of you enjoying things, because you love yourself and you deserve to enjoy these things and you deserve to melt into this self-love. And you can have 2 things at once, right? Like, you can have these shadow aspects of you and these things that you are still working through, like the thorn specifically on the rose, but you can still have this beautiful bloom as well. And you can still be in full bloom and admire your petals and admire your blooming and your unfolding and your becoming, and also hold space for the thorns of you as well at the same time, because these 2 things can exist at once. And I think that sometimes we get so stuck up in the thorns of ourselves to the point that they become thorns in our brain, because we are humans, we are messy, we are complicated. But when we are always only focusing on that aspect of ourselves, we forget about this aspect of ourselves. Look at how beautiful she is. Look at how beautiful you are. And really lean into that and embody it, and just like take little moments to practice it for yourself. Okay? That's my rant for today. I really just wanted to talk about roses, so that's what I did. And I love that I've created this space for myself and this channel for myself to share these little little delightful desserts of information that have just been coming forth for me, because I think that there is so much sweetness to all of this knowledge and this wisdom that I've been garnering as I've been traveling. And I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm still figuring it out. I am still becoming, but I've really been enjoying coming out here to talk, and I hope that you've been enjoying it too. So I will see you in the next one, guys, and take care of yourself. Go buy yourself some roses. All right. Bye, guys. Love you.